Hello and welcome back to the KC Glassworks YouTube channel. Today we are talking about cement and cementing leaded panels. So we're just going to get right into it with the materials that you're going to need, and then obviously how you're going to mix your cement and then push it into your lead cane panel, clean it up, and then eventually end at a point where your next step is going to be polishing. So the materials that you're going to need is some sort of cement mix. So I like to use the Miracle Mud that you would find at stained glass supply stores. It comes with the powdered cement, and then it also comes with the liquid. This is dyed black, so once we end up mixing it, you'll see that the whole mixture will be black in color. And then it also comes with the liquid that you need. So normally it's like mineral spirits and like linseed oil of some sort that's mixed together. You can mix your own, but I just buy the own thing. And then a bucket and some sort of mixing tool. And you'll also need some sort of hard bristle brush and some toothpicks, some whiting. Okay, first it's the whiting, sorry. I'm like watching with you. Okay, so you need your whiting, and then you also need toothpicks for like a wood fid to clean up around your edges. And you'll see as we get into the video how to do that. And then you're also going to need a respirator. This is a really messy portion of the process, so make sure you're protecting your lungs whenever you're using like the whiting and stuff. And then you're also going to need a vacuum. So get some sort of vacuum with a hose, a vacuum that you obviously don't care about, some sort of shop vac that you can just suck all the extras away. So we're just going to get right into mixing our cement. And I like to make my cement on the drier side, so I'm going to end up pushing my cement into the lead panel with my hands. That's how I like to start out. I just push everything into the lead with my hands. So you can see I put some of the powder in the tub and then a little bit of the liquid. And I'm just slowly mixing until I get the right consistency that I like. So it's always good to kind of guesstimate how much cement you think you're going to need for your entire panel. But obviously you can always mix more, which I end up doing. So yeah, I'm just slowly adding some of that liquid in and just making the cement, making sure all the powder's mixed in, making sure it's all one consistency. But some people like to make theirs liquidy. I like to make mine pretty solid. So I am happy with this mixture, and I am ready to start cementing up the actual panel. So what I like to do is just get a clump of it in my hand. I just wear rubber gloves, and I just start shoving the cement into the sides of the cane. So just making sure that I'm getting every single piece of glass, and just slowly working my way around the whole thing before I actually start getting into the brushing portion of it. So this is completely up to you. I just think the brushing automatically is just so messy. If you have any other suggestions that it's less messy but you still get to use a brush, it's just it just like sprays everywhere. So I just like to mush it all in with my hands first, and then I'll pick up the excess that I didn't use and just put it back into the bucket, and then I'll get into brushing with the plastic brush. So here I'm just taking my time mushing all of the cement into the panel. So the reason that we cement leaded panels is for weatherproofing. So if you're going to be putting this into a window frame where it's going to be exposed to the outdoors in rain and snow, this is going to obviously secure it so that there's no water getting in, but also it just makes the lead, you know, seal to the glass in a way where it extends its life. So lead stretches over time, and whenever you start adding cement into the lead, and then also it's basically compressed against the glass, it's gonna end up making that window last 50, 100, you know. It's like, I think that a normal, like, average lifetime of a leaded window can be like 50 years to 100 years. So that's really what you're looking at whenever you're leading a panel. I normally don't cement a panel until it gets over a square foot. So a lot of like my smaller pieces, I don't cement just because they're not heavy. They're basically just sun catchers. So something like this, I will cement and I'll end up framing. Okay, so I got this side of the panel all cemented up, so I'm just taking my toothpick and taking the flat side of the toothpick and going around all of the edges of my lead and just cleaning up where I pushed in all of that cement. And you can see it's just like kind of clumping off to the side, getting all that excess out. Then I take my whiting powder and I just sprinkle a little bit onto the top, and I will take a little brush. I have multiple plastic brushes, so I suggest ordering quite a few of them, just because one I end up using for cleaning up and then one I end up using for polishing. So this one I'm just using to push around the whiting so that it gets in all of the edges, like all the cracks and all the edging, so that it picks up all those excess oils. So you can see I'm just pushing that whiting all around, and I'm putting a little bit more. I guess I wanted some more on there. So yeah, just pushing all that whiting around. And then I'm flipping it over to the other side. I'm gonna let that whiting really soak up all of the excess oil and let it dry. So obviously I'm going to make some more cement because I didn't make enough. So I'm just putting in some more powder and just making my mixture again. Alright, and now I am cementing this side of the panel, just mushing it all in with my hands again. And we'll do the same thing. We'll clean it up with a toothpick and put down some whiting. Okay, so now that I'm happy with all of the cement being all the corners and all the inside all the came, I'm just taking my toothpick again and cleaning up all of the edges. Alright, and then I am taking some whiting, putting a little bit on the top there, and then I'm just going to spread it around and make sure that it gets all of those excess oils, that gets in all the crevices of the lead, and just let that soak in for a little bit. Okay, so I'm flipping it back over to the other side, and I have two separate brushes. I have one that I use for cleaning and then the other one that I use for like polishing basically. So this one I'm just brushing all over the panel and just getting all of that excess cement out of the edges. So what's going to end up happening is this is going to end up really pushing the cement into the channels of the lead, and then it's going to help also clean up those edges so that there's no cement kind of leaking out the sides. It's going to make sure that they're all nice and straight all the way around the panel. So this does take a little bit, obviously. I'm not pushing down really hard. I'm just kind of let the brush do its own thing. The brush will do the work. And just make sure you're going in a whole bunch of different directions, that you're going side to side, up and down, that you're following sort of the lead pattern. And then also just make sure you're getting your border too. And you can see how nicely it's already cleaned up. And then it's just really that solder that ends up not taking on the color yet for the polishing. But we'll do the polishing in a different video, and I'll show you how I get that solder nice and black. Okay, so at this point I take my vacuum and I start cleaning up all of the mess that's around it and on top of it, because it really does just get everywhere. And this whole time I am wearing my respirator because it is very dusty. So yeah, just picking up all of that excess stuff, picking it up off of the top of the panel. So it already looks amazing. And now I'm taking my cleaner brush, which I'm calling my polishing brush, and I'm putting a little bit more whiting on it and just spreading that all the way through so that it gets on the inside of all of that cane to really help dry it up a little bit more. Because cement does take a while to dry, I guess, depending on where you're storing your panels. So I'm in my basement and it really depends on what time of year it is. If it's like moist down there, or like, I guess that was a weird way to put it, but I don't like the word moist. Anyway, if it's hot down there or if it's cold, we have a dehumidifier in our basement, so I find that it doesn't take very long for the cement to dry since it is dry in my basement. I dropped the camera there. Okay. Anyway. So yeah, cement can take a while to dry depending on, you know, how wet the mixture was, how dry the mixture was, and then also just the temperature that it's being stored in. So, yeah, I'm just cleaning it up with this brush, and it really helps just make all the edging super nice. It's way less cleanup at the end. And you can see there's already dust all the way around it again that I'll end up cleaning up with the vacuum. Okay, so I would consider this side fully cemented, and then I like to take my toothpick again and just clean up those edges because I really want no cement kind of like sticking out in front. I like it to be completely under the lead, and it just looks way better in the sunlight, I think. So just cleaning up those edges again. Okay, and then again with the vacuum, just sucking up all the rest of that. Okay, so I'm happy with that side. I flip it over and do the same exact thing where I'm cleaning with just my regular plastic bristle brush, which is obviously what I'm calling like the dirtier one. I don't know, they're the same exact brush, but one has a lot more cement on it than the other one. So just taking my time cleaning up all of that cement. And doing the final cleanup with my other brush. And doing a little cleanup with the toothpick and the vacuum. Okay, so I have all of that cleaned up, and then what I end up doing is taking it over to the light table and doing a little bit of extra cleaning, like in the corners and stuff, where cement kind of gets trapped. So I do some extra cleaning like that. I'll do some more vacuuming on it, but basically at this point you're just gonna wait until it dries. You can still do a little bit of like edge cleaning whenever the cement is actually dry, but yeah, I just end up letting the cement do its thing, let it dry for a couple days, and I'll come back, do any extra like picking with the toothpick, and that's about it. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much the end of our cementing video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.